If you've worked very much with audio, at some point you've probably encountered problems with hum and buzz. I recently discovered a device that can fix those issues in a lot of situations. This is a device that a viewer, a subscriber, thanks for subscribing, mentioned in a comment. And I just had to look it up, and I saw that device and I thought, that is really slick. I had to get one. So I want to tell you about it. I want to show it to you because I think it's a great solution for a common problem. And it's the HE18 from Rolls, HE's Hum Eliminator, I believe. And this is a transformer isolation box. Now, isolating pieces of equipment through a transformer, that's nothing new. That's old technology. It's been around for a long time, and I'm well familiar with it. And I've got some other devices that are similar to this that do the same function. And of course, we've been using direct boxes on stage for a long time, which allows us to connect musical instrument gear into our sound system and have isolation. And it also changes the signal type into a signal type that is what our microphone preamps on the mixing board are expecting. Microphone level balanced signal. The HE18 is a transformer isolation box, so it isolates pieces of equipment. If you have the situation where you have a piece of equipment that is working well, it's nice and quiet, and another piece of equipment which likewise is working well and doesn't have hum or noise, they're both quiet, but when you tie them together, there's a minor ground difference potential between the two, and they start passing ground currents back and forth, and you experience hum and noise. And so everything's fine on each piece of gear, but as soon as you tie them together, you notice that there's some hum or buzz in the signal. And that's an indication that you have a ground loop situation occurring, where there is multiple pathways to ground, and the current is flowing back and forth between these two pieces of equipment, and a little bit of that current is finding its way into your signal lines, which then gets amplified and you hear it, and that comes through as hum and buzz, and that's not very pleasant. One of the ways that we can address that issue is to have a better connection between those chassis. We can put a nice thick wire from one piece of gear to another and just tie the chassis together so we have a stronger, better, more low impedance connection on the ground between those two boxes, rather than relying upon the grounding through the power distribution, which of course runs through all kinds of wire in the walls of the building, and there's some resistance there. So a nice solid piece of wire between the pieces of gear can sometimes help. Or sometimes if that gear is mounted all in a rack, and the metal rack rails are tying the chassis of those pieces of equipment together, and so everything gets bonded together with a good connection and it all goes to ground, that can help sometimes. The other thing we can do is, instead of trying to tie them together more tightly, we can break them apart. So we know that the pieces of gear are not creating any hum and buzz just standing by themselves. It's only when we connect them together that they start passing currents back and forth and creating ground issues that cause hum. So if we can break those pieces of gear apart, but still pass a signal, well, that's a solution. And that's exactly what the HE18 does. And that's what DI boxes on the stage do as well, is they have a transformer inside that passes the signal from one piece of gear to another magnetically. So there's no hard ground connection between the pieces of gear to pass those stray currents. And transformer isolation, it's nothing new, it's not rocket science, but the HE18 box, I think, is just a really nice implementation of it. And this box is designed to work with consumer or pro sound gear, and it's got a number of connections on it that make it really convenient. And also, this box, through the use of its internal transformers, can convert your signals from balanced to unbalanced or vice versa. And so on this box, we have 1/4 inch connections on both this side and the other side. One side is input, the other side is output. And those 1/4 inch connections are tip, ring, sleeve. They're balanced connections. And so you can put balanced signal into one end and tap off on the other side as a balanced signal, or you can just take one side of it as unbalanced. And likewise, you could put in an unbalanced signal on this end, and the other side comes out as balanced. So that's pretty slick. Likewise, there are RCA pin connections for both inputs and outputs, and they work with the rest of the box as well. So you could take in a signal on the RCA pin inputs, which of course would be unbalanced. That's just ground and a signal. And then on the output side, we would get balanced audio output. So that's pretty slick. And it has RCA and 1/4-inch tip ring sleeves, so it's really convenient in a lot of situations. I've put this inline in my audio system, and it has been really effective at reducing any quiet hum and buzz noise that I was getting between my audio system and the computer interface. I think it's really convenient and handy, and it's just such a nice little package. It's all metal construction. It's pretty well built, like most stuff from Rolls. It's not terribly expensive, and it's just a handy little device that can save you in those situations where you have ground loops, and when you're connecting pieces of gear together, you hear hum and noise. There might be the question that arises, which is, will running my audio through an audio transformer impact the fidelity of the sound? And in my experience with this device, no. I think it sounds just great. And I can't really, with casual listening anyway, hear any difference in the sound quality with or without this device in line. So it's got a couple of pretty good transformers in it that don't seem to mess up the sound quality. I think it works really well. But I will say that when you run your audio through a transformer, there is going to be some small impact to the sound quality. There has to be, just knowing the science of it. And so if I was putting together a really seriously high-end audio system, and I considered myself to be an extreme audiophile, if I had a $20,000 audio system, running my audio through a transformer would probably be a bit cringeworthy. I'd probably rather not want to do that if I didn't have to. But I can tell you that in my experience, I think it works great, sounds great. I have not done a serious critical A/B listening test where I put the headphones on and had an A/B switch, and I switched with this unit in and out. But in my casual listening with it, I think it sounds fine. I can't discern that there's any obvious significant impact to the audio quality. So I just wanted to share this device with you because I think it's just such a nice package and it's so neatly done. And I've seen other ground lift devices like this that are transformer isolation units. Not too many of them will convert from balanced to unbalanced or vice versa like this one does. And so if you have a situation where when you connect a couple pieces of gear together, you're hearing some hum and buzz, something like this just might be the answer. It's the Rolls HE18 Hum Eliminator buzz-off device. I'll put a link down below if you're interested in this sort of thing. Just wanted to pass on the tip. I think it's a cool device. I appreciate the viewer, the subscriber, who brought it to my attention, and thanks. So I hope that was helpful to you. If you have hum and buzz and noise issues, this just might be the ticket. Now, if you have hum issues that are not related to tying equipment together, if you just turn that one piece of equipment on and it's not connected to anything else and it's got hum or noise, well, this sort of isolation is probably not going to be the answer in that case. But in the case where you're tying equipment together and suddenly that creates a situation where you have some hum, transformer isolation box like that just might be the ticket that is a good solution for you as it is for me. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you found the tip helpful. If you did, throw me a thumbs up. If you like this kind of stuff in general and you want to see more, consider subscribing to the channel. I always appreciate that. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I'll catch you again soon on another upcoming episode.